The existence of Gulag was denied and ascribed to vicious counter-revolutionary propaganda. The existence of German concentration camps and gas chambers was denied. The occurrence of horrible man-made artificial starvation in Ukraine, which killed 6 million people, was equally denied as a conspiracy theory. The existence of the secret protocols to Molotov-Ribbentrop agreement were always denied till very recently. Not to mention the massacre of Polish officers in Kharkiv. I remember when at the end of the 70s, Polish community wanted to erect a monument to this event in London. The British Foreign Ministry protested, saying that it's all conspiracy theory. Come to think of it, the very existence of communism, and particularly of its purposes, were always denied as a conspiracy theory. The fact that that system had as a purpose the ultimate domination of the world was always dismissed. Also, we could always prove it by reading Marxist books. They would use a different language, of course. They would never say about world domination. They would be speaking about liberating humanity from the chains of capitalism. But what's the difference? I remember how difficult this was to explain to the people in the West when 34 years ago I had to come here and spend these 34 years trying to explain to them that even the worst conspiracy theories could be proven to be true as far as the Soviet Union is concerned. One can't even imagine what kind of a crime these people committed against their own population, let alone against foreigners. There is no imagination enough to invent something they didn't try. And we are the witnesses of that. But as the crisis of communism was coming to a crunch, the West, which never understood the proper functioning of that system, never understood its purposes and the way it operates, the West didn't know what to demand from them. I remember even during Ronald Reagan time, the West couldn't invent what to demand from Gorbachev to prove that the communist system changed. Let them release all political prisoners. They released political prisoners. Let them allow people to immigrate, those who want to immigrate. They allow people to immigrate. And the system still remained. Then Reagan made a famous speech in Berlin. Comrade Gorbachev, tear this wall down. The wall was teared down, but communism didn't disappear. The trouble is that the West never understood that communism is not even a political system. It's a disease. And a country can only recover from that by making an effort. And if there is no effort, there is no cleansing. The essence of it remained, and no matter how much we try to persuade the West that it's not the end of our work, that we have to dismantle this system, we have to cure disease, they wouldn't understand us. Then we would be talking about the necessity of the Nuremberg trial in Moscow, which would condemn once and for all the crimes committed by that system as crimes against humanity. Only then, as an example of Nazi Germany showed us, can the country start to recover. That was never done. And it wasn't done to a large extent because the West didn't want it to happen. There was enormous pressure on Yeltsin's government not to disclose the crimes, not to open archives, not to conduct such trial. Why? Because the West was very much involved in all of them. In 73 years of resistance of communist system, the interconnection between the West and the East were much bigger and much deeper than any one of us suspected. And so it happened when ostensibly the West proclaimed the end of the Cold War and accordingly treated the countries emerging from the Soviet Union, Soviet bloc, as being democracies there was no democracy there. The system remained, the nomenclature remained in power. Their connections became criminal connections. They turned into big mafia. And they continued to operate and slowly make their way up to the utmost power. By the year 2000, they emerged in the face of little-known kernel of KGB. And instead of suspecting at least something, the West welcomed him as a genuine face of democracy. I wonder, would they do the same if in 1955 a former assessment became a Chancellor of Germany? But in this case, even President Bush told us that he looked in his eyes and could see his soul. Now that, I remember, puzzled me. How did he manage to do that? In all my numerous encounters with the KGB officers, soul is one thing I could never find out. And yet, it took another 10 years for the West to realize how much they mistaken, and this ostensible new democrat in Moscow is just continuation of the Soviet system. Nothing changed. Everything went backwards. Suddenly, the country which had no political prisoners for 10 years have them now. Even the psychiatric repressions returned. Slowly, gradually, the hostility toward the immediate environment, immediate neighbors of Russia became once again on agenda. The biggest enemies of Russia suddenly became tiny Georgia, tiny Estonia, and of course Poland. The restoration of the Soviet system is in full swing. Of course they understand that they cannot fully restore that system. The modern technology, the modern time would not allow that to happen. It's too difficult. But as much as they can restore it, as much as they can restore the former Soviet sphere of influence, they will do it. And we've already seen it, not only in Caucasus or in Baltic countries, but in your own case. I remember how much of opposition, of pressure, of protests and demands Russia generated when Americans decided to establish some parts of anti-ballistic missile system on your territory in the Czech Republic. There was no need whatsoever to deploy these elements of anti-ballistic missile defense on your territory. Once it was suggested, it must have been done. Simply as a message to the people in Kremlin that Eastern Europe is not their backyard. It is not their colony anymore. And they will take their own decisions. And yet, once again, without understanding what they're dealing with, Americans decided it's a bargaining point. And they decided to accept the demands from Kremlin in exchange for vague promises to do something about Iranian nuclear program, which, as we all know, is very much helped by Moscow. What a ridiculous deal. But that in itself is not much new to me. I've seen it time and again for decades and decades. What is new is suddenly emergence in Poland, the government, which will go the same way. Suddenly, we see a government which believes that they must improve relations in Russia. Must improve relations. Tell me, what does it mean? How do you improve relations with KGB? You become its agent. The only way to do it. Suddenly we can see that a national insult was administered to Poland by killing the entire leadership of the country in one blow. The Poles did not demand investigation. The Poles, the people who rebelled all their history against all possible oppression, suddenly accepted it. I remember we, in desperation, 5 of my friends, have published even a letter in Rzecz Pospolita in May, begging Poles to demand investigation for Christ's sake. Let's at least know the truth. But it was hushed down, and we were dismissed as peddlers of conspiracy theories. I remember this 1981. And I can tell you only one thing: if you stand up at 5, I will join you. And so would thousands of honest, decent Russians and people from any other country, for your freedom and ours.
Jestem